be at the height of human orgasm, which lasts only for a fraction of a second. Otherwise, you are not healthy at all. So by that definition, all of us are unhealthy, because if I scan all of us now, if I have the capacity to scan the cells, individual cells, all of us have at least about 50 to 100 cancers. What is a cancer? A cell which is mutated, that's all. A rogue cell. Aimless, jobless, wandering cells, which have mutated to survive in the bad environment of the human body. Did you understand that? This is a normal human cell which has mutated to survive. It is trying to survive, and we are trying to kill it with chemotherapy. Did you understand that? That's the difference. So these cells are not anybody from outside. They are our own cells. They could not survive in the environment. What is this environment? We'll come to that later. If you forget, remind me. Now, cancer is not something from outside. In the words of Albert Szent-Györgyi, who was a Nobel laureate biologist who wrote a book called Introduction to Submolecular Biology in 1960, as far back as 1960, when I was a student, he wrote. And there he says, I don't know what cancer is. Who is writing? Albert Szent-Györgyi, a Nobel laureate. Because cancer cells work exactly like normal cells. Under the microscope, they may look different. Morphologically, they are different, but physiologically, they are normal cells. And you cannot kill a normal human cell without killing the other cells. Which means our cancer treatment, if you logically think, is killing all human cells which divide fast. And the cells that we divide fastest are in the immune system. And you kill them. Which means our treatment reduces your immune system so you can't recover. That's a good idea. And this chemotherapy is the one that certainly gives a second cancer. So this is how we go about in reductionist science, because the science base is wrong. In reductionist science, we use linear mathematics. What is science? John von Neumann, a Nobel laureate chemist, defined science. Neumann is a Hungarian chemist, Hungarian ethnic group, but he is an American. John von Neumann says, science is making models. I'm quoting him. Science is making models, comma, which are mathematical constructs, comma, which with verbal jargon are supposed to work, full stop. Did you understand? So you make a model, everything E is equal to mc squared, a plus b whole square, a squared, b squared, 2ab. All this, all mathematical constructs which are supposed to work. Now come back to this science, and the mathematical model of medicine is linear science. And so, higher the blood pressure, quicker you die, higher the sugar, the quicker you die, taller you are, the quicker you die, etc., etc. But the reality is, higher the blood sugar you may die, but lower the blood sugar you will certainly die. Higher the blood pressure you may die, but very low blood pressure you will die. Because people are worried, in the intensive care unit, what are you worried about blood pressure? When Jayalalitha's blood pressure goes down, the doctors will all be, up in heaven. So this is how it is. So this linear mathematics doesn't work. Like, for example, we say you go for a checkup, and then they say your ECG is taken. Oh, absolutely sinus rhythm, absolutely regular ECG. If it is regular, you are dead. Your heart must be irregular, then only you are healthy. Look at a child's heart. When the child breathes, the heart runs fast. When the child breathes out, it runs slow. This is called sinus arrhythmia in our textbook. It's not arrhythmia, that's a rhythmia. The so-called arrhythmia that we're talking of is ill health. Rhythmia is ill health, disease. Arrhythmia is health. Now what we do is, as a child, your heart is irregular. Do you know why? Tell me why. Why the child's heart is absolutely healthy, happy? Good. Good. Somebody said laughing. Who said that? Yaar chonige? Romba nalla. Nenna pere? Revati is a very good girl. A child smiles on an average about 500 to 1000 times in a day. Go home today, stand before the mirror, don't tell your husband or wife, how many times did you smile? Many of us don't smile at all. Because we start hating people. Child's mind is called manas in Ayurveda. Manas is like a dark room with a window outside. Sorry, we teachers go by the calendar. So you remind me when the clock says, we normally go by the calendar. So it peeps out, and anybody passes that way, child smiles. And there are two kinds of children, I'll tell you later. Then you send the child to school. School is given information, buddhi. So the second level of one called buddhi. So the buddhi says, this is BMA day, this is Suri, and things like that. So it looks at Suri and says, and looks at BMA, I hate him. Then the heart variation becomes less. Then you go still further to probably college. Then ego comes in. That's called chitta. Who am I? That kind of. Have you heard of the I? Illness. That I changes to we, becomes wellness. This is what Suri wrote, spirituality and health. Spirituality is sharing and caring. And when you care for others, you become we. So the compound wall of I is gone and you become healthy. That's all. That's all the difference. So you don't have to do anything. The take home message today is, you just forget your I and forget your illnesses and become we and become well. This I call as the wellness concept. This is spirituality and health. Now we have not defined health yet. We are still in the health of the alma mater definition. We have changed the definition of health now, and the IOM has accepted that. 2009, February 28th, the IOM has accepted our definition, where we said health is defined as enthusiasm to work. Mark my words, enthusiasm to work. Steve Hawkins is healthy, but he's not. He's having one of the horrible diseases. One muscle doesn't move. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which according to our textbooks he should be dead in 2 years. He is alive for 42 years now. So never predict the future of a patient. Any doctors here? There's a nice study called Doctors Predicting the Unpredictable Future of Patients. Fascinating study. Patient comes to you and says, Anna, unukku enna valiya enga? My vaitu vali sir. என்ன பண்ணுறது, நாளைக்கு எனக்கு ஒரு இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் மீட்டிங் இருக்குது சென்னையில், அங்கே போக வேண்டியது. டோன்ட் வரி, டேக் திஸ் டேப்லெட் 3 times. நாளைக்கு நீ சென்னை போகிறேன். The doctor doesn't know what the white valley is due to. He doesn't know whether this tablet will act. He doesn't know whether he will be all right tomorrow. But he will tell him, ஒன்றும் பண்ணாத நீ. Predicting the unpredictable future of patients. This is a fascinating study done by a physicist. His name is William John Firth. W.J. Firth. Anybody wants to write down? Go to the internet and see. Firth. எழுதிங்களா? ரொம்ப ரொம்ப நல்ல பொண்ணு, எழுதிக்கோ. Firth, F-I-R-T-H. The journal is British Medical Journal, BMJ ன்னு எழுது. Year is 1991. Volume is 303 and page is 1565. இது போய் பாரு, இது படிக்கணும். ஒரு தடவை இல்லை, 2-3 times, because we have been doing the wrong things everywhere. Every way, in everything we are giving the wrong things and frightening patients. We have become health scare system. அப்படி பார்த்தா, என்ன அப்போ டயபெட்டிஸா? ஆமாம் சார். அம்மாவுக்கு டயபெட்டிஸா? அப்போ உனக்கு டயபெட்டிஸ் வந்தாச்சு. But the scientific truth is, genes have nothing to do with you. Genetics has gone, but still the genetics is being practiced because of big money. Stem cell research. Stem cell treatment போனீங்களா நீங்கள் யாராவது? இல்லையா? 45 to 50 lakhs. And the result is dead body after some time. Because you can make stem cells in the laboratory, but you put it into the human body, the cell cannot do anything without the environment of the body. And what's the environment of the body? We'll come to that. Environment, I'm keeping it a secret. We'll come to the environment later. So stem cell research, then genetic prediction. குழந்தைக்கு உடனே ஒரு ஹாரோஸ்கோப் பண்ணுவான். இந்த ஜீன் இருக்கு, இந்த ஜீன் இருக்கு, இந்த ஜீன் இருக்கு. Supposing a child has a gene for heart attack and a child has a gene for cancer, will anybody give a girl to that child if they are a boy? Will anybody marry that girl? Illa. So their life is gone. Will anybody insure that child? How can the child survive? And the prediction is, Angelina Jolie's breast எடுத்தாங்க. யாரோ BRCA1 gene இருக்குன்னு breast எடுத்தாச்சு. They wrote an article. At this rate, all our organs will be removed one by one. It was published in Huffington Post. Lo and behold, within 2 months they said, you have another gene for uterus cancer, their uterus removed. Now they have said another gene for ovary cancer, ovary is removed. So I wrote another article saying that at this rate only skin and bone will be left and the cancer will come in the skin and the bone. So it is so beautifully Firth has said how fallacious is our thing. So we have come from I to we. Now at the level of the chitta, the ego starts working. That's why Patanjali said, we need some treatment for this. And the treatment is not a chemical drug or a surgical treatment. He said, chitta, vritti, nirodha, yoga. So if you have read Viveka Chudamani, in Viveka you don't hate nobody. Why do you hate no? Why should I bother about it? So, okay, Suri doesn't like me. All right, I try to tell Suri, you are my friend. Why do you hate me? Still he hates me. So I said, okay, forget about Suri. So take Suri off my horizon. So I don't worry about it. Otherwise, each time I think of Suri, my blood pressure goes up, my cholesterol goes up, my sugar goes up. Why should I think about him? See, what happened was all this going up, it was given to us by nature when we were hunter-gatherers in the forest. Like, for example, you see a tiger in the forest. You can't stand there and be eaten by the tiger. So you must run. To run, you require sugar. Today, glucose is there. Those days in forest, you don't get glucose. So nature said, okay, or God said, I use nature because some of these people don't believe in God. God said, okay, let me protect him. So the minute I see the tiger, I'm afraid. When I'm afraid, the catecholamines come, adrenaline comes. It goes to the liver, and there are gunny bags of sugar in the liver called glycogen. So they get converted. It's called neoglucogenesis. Big name, as medical students, we have to mug it up. It means nothing. Neo means new, gluco means glucose, genesis means born. Thromboblast. When is blast? Blast in the mummy. So, what happened? Sugar goes up. Then if you have to run, your heart rate must go up, your blood pressure must go up, everything goes up. Then you run away from the tiger. Either you are caught by the tiger and killed, or you run and all these things come down. Today we have transplanted ourselves with the same physiology into what is called civilized society, where everybody is a tiger. Husband is a tiger, wife is a tiger, boss is a tiger, assistant is a tiger. So you see the same tiger, want to run away, your things go up, but you can't run away. You can't run away from your wife if she is a tiger. So what happens? The sugar remains high, blood pressure remains high, heart rate remains high. Then you say your heart disease, your sugar disease, your this disease. We have not looked at the whole. We have looked at the reductionist thing. You have a box, you go to the doctor. When you go to the doctor, he's so afraid. See, I am afraid to go to a doctor. So if a patient comes to you and then you say, appa blood pressure irundha, appa heart attack archa, ama sir. Abdiya? Okay, paakala, paduthuko. And the box irukku, puch panna. Odane blood pressure has to go up. If it doesn't go up, your heart is not good. No, because if your heart is normal, when you are frightened, your blood pressure will go up. And the minute it goes up, you declared you are hypertensive. Adukappuram nee evlo normal vandalo paravailla. Once a hypertensive, always hypertensive. Take medicine for the rest of your life. Normal vanda enna pandrathu doctor? Normal ulladha mele poidum. This doctor is taught by the textbooks written by the drug companies. You are laughing, eh? No. The role of drug company money in medical education in the United States of America is an editorial in the Lancet, April 2000. Read that. Textbook say, B.M. Hegde's textbook of medicine. B.M. Hegde has not even seen the textbook. The textbook is written by the drug company for their convenience. And then B.M. Hegde is told, sir, you are Suri Channane, you are your ego is fed. And then 10 lakhs rupees is given. So, unga per kudugo. So, you sell your name and B.M. Hegde's textbook of medicine. I want a textbook, even a textbook. I edadina they are a drug company fellow. So, that textbook says if the blood pressure runs up, it is always up. But the real study shows that if your blood pressure is normal, with or without drugs, you can stop the drugs and see what happens. Blood pressure doesn't jump to the sky. You can keep a watch on it, and if it goes up, then you can give the drug. The drug is there anyway, because the drug is a chemical. How long can you take that? Same with diabetes. Most diabetics can be controlled by diet and exercise. And if you control it by diet and exercise, you must be sincere about it. You live longer than non-diabetics. Did you know that? Studies have shown that if you control your diabetes by proper change of lifestyle, you live 10 years longer than a non-diabetic. And most, if not all complications of diabetes are due to not diabetes, but diabetic drugs. Most, if not all complications of hypertension are due to anti-hypertensive drugs and not hypertension. Mahatma Gandhi's blood pressure was always 200 by 120. Of course, he had reasons to have high blood pressure. He was very tense otherwise. But who was worried? His doctor, Sushila Nair. In her biography, she writes, she didn't get sleep at night. But the old man was sleeping very happily because he had comfort in the sleep. And Mahatma Gandhi had all complications of hypertension. If that were so, poor Godse would have been alive even now. Because he would have died of hypertension. 120 by 100, no, sir. So many years, how he wouldn't have lived into his 70s. But idella yarukku solradhu? Sonna siripanga. So ultimately what happens is, disease is not due to risk factors. Nama solradhu, oh, diabetes irukka? Cholesterol irukka? 45 varshama na eludirikke cholesterol is good for health and cholesterol should be there. You must eat fat, otherwise you will not survive. You look like an 80-year-old man if you reduce your fat when you are 50 years. Titranga. Actually, they wanted to dismiss me as a professor from medical college. They wanted to remove my degrees. They threatened me. They did everything. But still somehow or other, Ippa Americans ke therinjide. After killing about 15 million Americans, now they say fat is good for health. It's not the fat that is bad, it is sugar that is bad. They knew that even then, but the sugar lobby paid 3 so-called scientists, quote unquote, $50,000 to make a research saying that fat is bad and sugar is not bad. The sugar lobby, actually there was a researcher in London when I was a student there called John Yudkin. John Yudkin was a nutrition professor at London University who wrote a book, Pure, White and Deadly. Please read that book, Pure, White and Deadly. Yudkin, Y-U-D-K-I-N. And he showed how dangerous sugar is and not fat. Do you know what they did? They removed his degree. They dismissed him as a professor. And he was on the street without a job. He was 52 years old. And he was a musician. So he learned music and started teaching music in a school to survive. Today, he has sued so many journals and the American government for $50 million. He will get it because he has been proved right now. And how many years I have been writing fat is good. Coconut oil is the best oil because coconut oil and mother's milk have the same fat. If coconut oil is bad, mother's milk is bad. There is no oil under the sun which like mother's milk except coconut oil. That's why you even if you are taking gingerly oil or any other oil, go home and see your infant food. Infant food base must be only coconut oil because any other oil, infant will die. And this I have been writing for so many. And people were abusing me. Now they say, oh, coconut oil is so good. You must see, in America, you must see. The Costco is the biggest company selling, large number. Half of Costco's main building in Seattle is called Coconut Building. You go inside, coconut water, coconut milk, coconut. People eat now cornflakes in coconut milk because cow's milk is bad. Cow's milk is cow's child you should eat. Why should we eat it? We are stealing it now. We are criminals we are. Child. And we should not, because no animal in nature drinks the milk of another animal. Have you seen that? That's what this fellow said, money comes. Little do we see nature that is ours. So beautiful, Chonnane. So many things in nature. Your dog gets any tummy ache. It doesn't go to BMX day like an ass. It goes to the outside grass and eats it and knows which grass to eat. We also knew that. But our schooling made us idiots. Our intuition is completely curtailed. Now American scientists are going to Amazon forest, deep down, where the aboriginals who don't even have clothes, and they live 100 years, no disease. If they get a disease, they know a herb. And Americans are befriending them. Scientists are now befriending them because they can't find a new chemical now, because no chemical can beat the placebo effect of just talking to the patient. 59% placebo effect of talking to the patient. So now they are befriending those people, and they have already befriended the loggers. They said, no, don't cut the forest. make more money by the forest than you make. How much do you make? We will give you that money. So drug companies and the loggers are friends now. It's a good development. So this is how medicine is such a reductionist science, and we call it modern. Remember, modernity comes from our antiquity, not from American modernity, from our antiquity. I'll give you an example. There are 43 studies on garlic, and the British Medical Journal says all the 43 studies have a negative result. So garlic is good for cooking, but not as a medicine. So I wrote a letter to the editor. I said, look, you have not done studies on garlic. You have done studies on garlic pills. Garlic pills is not garlic. Garlic must be whole garlic. Then only it's good. But what they have done, garlic pill. What is garlic pill? The Westerners don't like the garlic smell. I don't know why they don't like. I take garlic every day. I like the smell. They don't like. So they have removed the HS group, sulfidyl group. And then if you remove sulfidyl group, it's not garlic at all. And second thing is, if you cook garlic, you put it in a capsule, nothing happens. You must put garlic in the mouth, raw garlic. Munch it. It must mix with the saliva. And the trypsin in the saliva must mix with the alanine in garlic to make it allicin, which is a medicine. And garlic is a fantastic medicine. See, for example, there are a lot of studies on Brahmi. Brahmi, Tamil enna solradhu? And Vendayam. Okay, only one leaf comes in the thing. Ek patta. Very interesting. And all the studies are negative. And they say Brahmi is no good. So I told some of these youngsters in Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, I said, why don't you do some studies on whole Brahmi? I remember my grandmother used to make us chutney of Brahmi when we had exams, and it says, take this chutney, your memory power will be good. So I used to think my grandmother is an old ass, she doesn't know anything. And because we used to think, we know everything because we go to school and my grandmother didn't go to school. So I used to laugh at her. But now I know. I told these boys, why don't you make a chutney of grand and feed it? So they took it up. They got a grant of 2 crores and they did study on rats. And they found whole chutney given rats in 6 months' time. Became so brilliant, I tell you. You can't put them in any cage, it will come out. Then they killed the rat and they found the memory part of the brain called the hippocampus major was 3 times its size. And the cells were hyperactive. So they said now, Brahmi is really good for memory, increasing your memory. And see how the difference, the holistic versus reductionistic. When once you remove it, nothing. So all Western medicines, mark my words, all Western medicines are reductionist chemicals. And they don't work in the human body because a large study done by a man called Douglas Wallace, professor of genetics in Washington, showed that when once you give a chemical medicine into the human system rejects it. It says, oh, I don't know what this is. This is a poison, so it must go to the liver. So every drug that you take goes to the liver. That is why today we have a new epidemic called non-alcoholic cirrhosis of the liver, drug-induced. We have a new disease called drug-induced nephropathy. Half the dialysis is due to the drugs that we give. My friend psychiatrist is here. Psychiatrists, Western